And happy Tuesday, Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent, my brother. Good to see you as well. I hope you had an incredible weekend, as we hope everybody else did out there.
Great weekend. And to the rest of you, welcome to the Investor Guys podcast. Today, I wanted to kind of follow through on what we've been talking about. Not so much about just Cleveland and Section 8 and the properties that are in Cleveland, but we're talking about numbers in Cleveland. I want to talk about numbers in one of the crazy things about COVID, Bill, and you know this because we've talked about this, is it has affected the real estate markets in virtually every city in the United States.
Yep.
And in a positive way. It has heated up the real estate market. No matter where you live, unless you're in a town with maybe 10 houses, your real estate market has seen just a crazy boom while everybody's been locked down. It's crazy because everybody's been locked down. Everybody's been having to wear masks. They're doing remote showings. They're doing video showings. They're doing just all kinds of crazy things. And still, the market is exploding. So we talked about Cleveland last year. Well, this year, 2021, 19.3% in value that it's gone up in just this year. So it's to go up 13% next year. Palm Beach, where I am, I pulled up some statistics over the weekend. There's been a 62% spike year over year in luxury homes. 62%. That is a lot. When you're in real estate business, that is a lot.
That's gigantic.
Year over year. Okay. Properties are going under contract 50.8% faster than last year. 100%. 100%. This is I didn't believe it. I had to check a couple of different sites. 100% of properties had offers in 30 days or less. That is unbelievable for Palm Beach County, where I am. Property values are up 20.3%. That's 20.3% in 1 year. That means that we had houses that were $400,000. They're now $480,000, literally just. And you know what? It's this year, but I saw it almost happen overnight. I saw it slowly creeping up, and then April, bam, it exploded. These numbers may not even reflect that because I saw houses go up $100,000, $200,000 literally within the course of 2 or 3 months. So officially, according to the statistics, 20.3% so far this year. The average for, or median for days on contract, 11 days. 11 days and they go under contract. Now, I also pulled up the market where you are, which is the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I couldn't find a projection for next year, but new listings are up 4.7% from last year. That's pretty good. The median price is up 10.9%. The median price, 10.9%. Days on market, 52, which is down from 78 last year. 78 was the average days on market. The most expensive market right now, and you probably know this, to the north of downtown is Preston Hollow. And the least expensive, at about $159 a house, is just south of downtown, and that's the Cedar Crest area.
Good stuff. So here's the deal. If people are sitting on the sidelines, Kevin, they are throwing money away.
That's what I wanted to make this show about, is if you are not acting, you're not doing something actively to be involved in real estate. And if you're in real estate already, if you call yourself a real estate investor, you've taken classes, you've taken courses, you've done whatever, and you're not doing anything, you're not doing yourself any favors, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you don't know how to get started, the sooner you get started, the sooner you're going to make money. And I'm pulling up actual real numbers that you can go and search. In fact, I encourage you to not only search the numbers that we just talked about for Palm Beach County and for Dallas and for Cleveland last week, pull up your own market. Pull up the statistics for your own market. Look how much money you lost by not investing just this year, and consider how much money you're going to lose next year and the following year and the following year. The sooner you get started, the sooner you're going to make money. And it seems odd, Bill, that we have to tell people this. It seems odd that this isn't common sense. And I've said it over and over again. One of my favorite sayings, best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. So if you didn't plant your tree, if you didn't start investing already, then you need to start now, because you are going to get left behind if you don't. You're always going to be able to make money in real estate, but why wait 10 years to do that? Why wait 3 years to do that? Why wait 2 years or 1 year to do that? Why not get started now, especially when it's so easy to do? Bill and I have gone over no money strategies, actual real no money strategies to get you started. So I don't care if you don't have a dollar to your name. There are ways to get started, either using other people's capital or with no money strategy. There's just
and
whatsoever not to be started, not to be a real estate investor.
In the last 30 days or less, we've shown 2 deals that were where the appraisal was more than the 80%. So the appraisal came in, you take 80% of that number and you can buy the house. And so it covered everything. It covered purchase, it covered rehab, it covered all the monies required to be able to do the deal. And so what the lender was looking at was an 80-20 loan. So the 80% was so great that it covered everything. It covered 100% of the purchase. It covered the rehab. And in both of those cases, there was money left over in the pocket. And so you just, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. If those kind of things don't slap you financially and wake you up, nothing's going to.
Yeah, and Bill,
in the real estate world.
I can't share them yet, but last week I went through the MLS in some major markets with some clients, and we found other properties that were 80% of market value or less, that they are working right now. And when those deals start to come to fruition, I'll be able to share those.
Sure.
But they're out there. They're out there, and they're in major markets. If you know where to look for them and you know how to look for them, they're out there. We found a couple that just probably more than these students are going to be able to actually do. These clients are going to be able to actually make offers on, and I'll make offers on them myself, because at 80% of fair market value, I can put zero down. I can put a couple of dollars down and still be ahead. I'm in a position where I can do that, but I could put zero down and I can acquire these properties. My wife loves the idea of zero down. She loves the idea of getting something for nothing. So maybe we'll just do that. Maybe we'll let her do those deals so that she can be happy about that.
There you go.
They're out there in major markets, and we're finding them on the MLS. Now we're up for a break, but we'll be back in just a minute. And we're back. And here's the thing. It's not just 80% of market value, 80% of loan to value properties. There are great deals across the board in this market. And there's always great deals in every single market. It doesn't matter whether you're in a buyer's market or whether you're in a seller's market. Bill Gatton, I think you don't know Bill Gatton. We've talked about him before. He's very fond of saying, regardless of whether the light is green or the light is red in real estate, it's always green for a real estate investor. Because if it's a buyer's market, then we buy. If it's a seller's market, then we sell. No matter what the real estate market is doing, there is a green light for us as investors. As long as the real estate market is doing something, we have opportunity. Doesn't matter what it's doing, just has to be doing something. If it's sitting stagnant, if it's not doing anything, which is never, then we don't have any opportunities. And I hope it never gets to that point. Now,
you've seen it. You know, I've been in
that?
30 years and I've never seen it where it was completely flat, nothing going on. There's always something going on. And we always use, I do when we're talking, and we do on the show here, the scales. So when one segment of the market is down, that means another segment is up. So there's never a point where everything is flat or everything is down or everything is up. It always has a balance mechanism. So you can look at the market, and when the market starts to turn, as it will, it is the nature of business and a business cycle. When it starts to turn, you can look at what's down and go, okay, what's the opposite side of that? Well, if we see new home sales and home sales dropping and foreclosure rates going up, then the opposite side of that is the rental market. If we see the rental market stagnate, like it somewhat has been, maybe not so much the last year, but a couple years before that, what you see is the retail of property is going crazy. And we haven't even talked about figuring in the commercial side of this, how they fit into the game, but there's always an opportunity to make money in real estate.
And when I was looking up those statistics, some of the other statistics are there were rentals. Okay. Rentals are up in every single market, and more than that 20% average that we're seeing in every market as far as appreciation goes. In Dallas, you guys used to have below market rents, lower than the national average. Your market rents are now higher than the national average in the Dallas market. That means if you own real estate in the Dallas area, your rents went up almost overnight. And literally it is overnight, because when your leases were up with the clients that you had, when they re-signed, or when you put a new tenant in there because they thought they could find a better deal someplace else, which they can't because everybody else can be charging more as well, your rents went up literally within a year. And
and we always
below market value for the United States to being above market value in the United States in just this last year in the Dallas market alone.
So we always suggest to clients in a non-Section 8 environment that if they're doing rental property, they build in an escalation that automatically says, hey, if you decide to renew your lease, we can either renegotiate. That's one tactic you can take. Or if you want to just roll your lease over for the next year or go month to month, it's going to go up for the next term period, whether that's 6 months, a year, month to month. It's going to go up 3%, 5%, whatever. And here's the dollar amount that's going to be, so that the tenant knows day one, when I get to first day of year two, my rent's going to be higher. And if you start looking at 25, 35, 50 bucks, rarely nobody is going to be moving because their rent went up 25, 35, 50 bucks. They might gripe, grumble, and complain, but they're not going to move.
Yeah. And here's the thing. A lot of times, if you don't have that built into your lease, you can renegotiate at market value. Okay.
Yep.
And I know people who moved to Palm Beaches about the same time that we did. They're renewing their leases now. They renewed their leases in the last few months. They went from paying $1,700 a month for an apartment to paying $2,200, $500 more, because they renewed their lease and they didn't have any options. They told me that they went to other apartments and they're charging $500 paperwork fees because housing is so short now, because so many people are moving. Yeah. They're charging $500 just to do the paperwork. They're charging $325, $350 to run credit. That's $25 to run credit, but they know that people are going to pay it because housing is so short. So they decided to go ahead and renew the lease where they were, because they weren't going to save any money where they were going. Plus they were going to incur about $1,000 extra in fees just to move someplace else. So their rents went up $500 a year in just a year. They rented it for $1,700. Now they're paying, but the second year, they're paying $2,200 a month now. That is a $60,000, $6,000 that they're paying more every single year in rent, $6,000 more, just because the market is blowing up. Again, if you had owned those properties, if you had owned real estate in this market or Dallas or any of these other markets where the rents are going up, that's money in your pocket. Remember, when we buy our properties, okay, I'm going to just set this up really quick for our slam dunk on the last section. When we buy our properties, we do our numbers based upon the current numbers. So when we do our calculations, we're doing our calculations on now. Okay. So if now was a year ago, we're looking at more money. We're going to talk about that when we get back on the second break or third break. Let's put this into perspective. You purchased a property in 2019 or 2020. You based your income, you based your profit on those market numbers for that year. You were making, I like to make 50%. Let's say I'm making 50% based on those numbers. Now, literally in a year, I'm making $500 more per month on every single one of those units in that property. That's $500 that I didn't calculate. I mean, I knew that my rent was going to go up, but I calculated my profit at 50% based upon those rents being $500 less a month. So remember, we talked about that person paying $6,000 extra every single year. Now, let's say I've got a unit of 10 buildings. I've got $60,000 extra every single year that I'm going to pay a little bit more in taxes for, and my property value may have gone up. I might have some asset value that I'm going to have to pay for my property taxes. But honestly, we're talking about almost a windfall of almost $60,000. Let's say all that is 10,000. I'm still making $50,000 more on a 10-unit building in 1 year than I was making the year before. And guess what? Those rents aren't going to go down next year. They're not going to go down in 5 years. They're not going to go down in 10 years. Unfortunately, for people who are renting, that's what the rent's going to be from now on. Okay, the rents aren't going to go down unless something significant happens. God forbid there's like a hurricane or something like that, a natural disaster, something that causes people to have to move out of the area. That means I'm sitting on more money every single month, every single year. And you know what? It happens every single year. Our rents go up every year. We make more money every single year. Just that's a significant amount. And if you missed out on that amount, it doesn't come back again. Yeah, you can invest now. You can invest now. And the next time this cycle happens, you'll get it. But you missed this cycle. If you had invested a year ago, if you'd invested 2 years ago, you would have hit this cycle. You would have gotten this money. You'll get the next cycle. You'll get the next cycle because you're already in the market. You're already in the mix. The sooner you get started, the sooner you can be assured that you're not going to miss out on these cycles. And again, it's just a matter of knowing what the market is doing to position yourself into being on the receiving end of all of these beautiful real estate gifts from the real estate gods.
Absolutely. And we've got just enough time. We had some update in the foreclosure world.
Okay.
So these are numbers that came in through the end of September. And this is from DS News, Direct Sourcing Magazine. So Black Knight, which is another service, decided that they really wanted to very, very closely monitor the foreclosure numbers after the end of the federal foreclosure moratorium that ended at the end of July. And accordingly, preliminary releases for the national delinquency rate fell. They actually went down. It went down to 3.91% in September. That's down 2.3% from August and down 41% from a year ago. This is the first time the delinquency rate has fallen below 4% in the last 18 months. It's just absolutely crazy. Black Knight said that this would have been a stronger improvement, but was partially offset by delinquencies which were raising 7,800 new delinquencies that in FEMA declared disaster areas that were hurricane impacted in Louisiana, and by 11,000 across the entire state of Louisiana that had to do with the hurricane there. Foreclosure starts plummeted 45.7% in September, after seeing a noticeable rise in August in the wake of the federal foreclosure moratorium expiration. There was approximately a total of 3,900 foreclosure starts in September. That's down 13.3% year over year. This was the third lowest monthly total on record and within 6% of the all-time low. All right, so a couple of other quick hitter points there. The number of properties that are more than 30 days past due, but not in foreclosure, is 2,068,000. That's down 54,000 from August and down 1.74 million homes from last year. The number of properties that are more than 90 days past due, but still are not yet in foreclosure, are 1.233 million, which is down 106,000 from last month and down 1,090,000 from last year. the number of properties that are more than 30 days past due and are in foreclosure stands at 2.2 million. That's down 61,000 from August and down 1.519 million from last year. The number of properties in foreclosure pre-sale inventory stood at 135,000. That's down 7,000 units from August and down 46,000 homes from this time last year. So all the foreclosure news as of September is really good through the end of September. And, we're going to see how this continues to roll out. The one thing that all of the doom and gloomers didn't pull into account was the demand on the market.
Yes.
And so
it's also indicative of something that we've said over and over and over again, is if you're a one-trick pony, if you're planning on just doing foreclosures, then your job just got harder because the foreclosure market became more competitive. The amount of foreclosures on the market are less. So if that was your trick, if that was a trick you had in your bag, then your job just became more difficult. So understanding the different strategies that we have, the different things that we can do as real estate investors, the different ways we have of making money. And there's easy ways of making money. Literally, I've done foreclosures before, but there's so many easier ways of me acquiring properties personally that I like, that I really don't spend a whole lot of time on foreclosures, to be honest. There are markets where I can jump in and find properties on the MLS that make sense at asking price. I don't have to dicker on price. I don't have to argue about this. I don't have to argue about that. I don't have to wait for this to clear or that to clear, or the bank to do this or the bank to do that or anything else, and wait with bated breath for a month to do a deal. I could be doing 5, 6, 10 deals in that same month straight off of the MLS and still making money because I understand how to do that. And Bill understands how to do that. And enlightened investors, to take a term from Mark Victor Hansen and Robert Allen, enlightened investors know this. They understand this. They have a bag of tricks. Literally, they can open up and they can say, this is going to be perfect for this market. This is going to be perfect for this market. This is perfect for this time. And they are going to benefit. They are going to make money. And this is where you need to put yourself if you're not there already. Anything to say,
yes, sir,
Mr. Barnett?
I just want to stress to everybody, get your butt in gear. If you're not doing it, get in gear.
Yes.
It's not going to get better.
No, make sure you're following us. Make sure you're sharing us. Check out realestatebuyersevent.com, realestatebuyersevent.com. We're going to be in Cleveland, probably our only real estate buyers event for 2022. It is available right now, so get signed up before all the seats are gone. We will see you back here on Thursday. Until then, happy investing. Bill, I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. See you now. Bye, everybody.